Ever since the car first graced the roads of the world, it's had a bit of a problem with its safety record. Now, modern cars, relatively speaking, are very safe indeed, but if you go back 50, 60 years, it's a very different story. Take, for instance, the year 1939 to 40. The statistics for road deaths for that year were truly appalling. In fact, it's been shown that more people died on Britain's roads that year than died in active combat. And the reason for that was blackout.
When driving at night time with this very subdued light, we used to find it much easier to drive on the white lines in the centre of the road. And then if there was any traffic coming towards you, then you could take evasive action, get over to the left and just feel for the curb at the side of the road. But you were virtually driving on just a bar of light, which was about, well, no more than, I suppose, 5 yards, 6 yards in front of you. So your speed was cut right down. You just got from A to B the best you could. The other hazard about driving at night was the security, with the ARP wardens, the Home Guard, the Army and the police, ARP wardens and the security. They all wanted to know where you were going and what you were doing. And then coupled with that, of course, you had the air raids going on all the time. So you were at considerable risk if you dared go out at night.
Presumably you couldn't go very far with petrol rationing anyway, could you?
Well, yes, the petrol rationing, Steve, was 1 gallon per car, this size car, per week. And that was 4 gallons a month. And so you can understand the limitations of the use of the motor car.
So have you got fond memories of this car then?
Yes, we have, Steve. I myself possessed one of these, and a great little cars they were. And it was a car that my wife and I did most of our courting in. And we had a lot of joy out of this car. We were very, very sorry to let it go in the end.
Well, thanks for that insight, Fred. I'm off for a drive now. Can I offer you a lift?
No thanks, Steve. I only live in the village and I'll just saunter off home.
Bye. Bye. This car, a 1938 Series II Moris 8 horsepower, is typical of 1930s motoring. It's got suicide doors, it's got a factory sliding sunroof, it's got semaphore indicators, it's got pressed steel wheels which are easier to clean than the horrible spoke wheels that went before it, no luggage space so they have a rack on the back, and it's quite a civilised car. It cost £149 and cars like this became cherished members of the family. It seems a shame then that having spent all that money, they only really got 1 year's unrestricted use out of it before the outbreak of war. Now, as every motorist knows, a gallon of fuel doesn't go far, and imagining that I too was restricted to such meagre rations, I put the dear old Moris away before the tank ran dry.